Before I go on to our thought for the day today, I wanted to ask you all for some help. During Advent, for our thoughts for the day, my hope is to intersperse readings from the Christmas story with some carols that we might know and can sing along to. What I'd love is for some of you to pick a carol that you love and to record yourself on video or just audio telling us why you love it. If you can't record yourself, you can always write something for me to read. And please then drop me a message and let me know which carol you'd like to do before you do it, and then we can avoid too much duplication. I look forward to hearing from you for what your favourite carols are and why. But today we're thinking about the first couple of verses in 1 Timothy 6. All who are under the yoke of slavery should consider their masters worthy of full respect, so that God's name and our teaching may not be slandered. Those who have believing masters should not show them disrespect just because they're fellow believers. Instead, they should serve them even better, because their masters are dear to them as fellow believers and are devoted to the welfare of their slaves. Now, I have to credit Tom Wright for my thoughts on this today, as he's helped explain it so well. I guess it's easy for us to look back with horror at the widespread slavery of the first century and to ask why God's people weren't demanding freedom for the slaves. Well, some Christians were, but it probably wasn't quite so easy. Slaves made up about a third of the population. Most free households, unless they were very poor, would have had at least one slave. To stand up in church and say that you are opposed to the whole system would be similar to standing up today and saying you're opposed to the use of all fossil fuels and that cars and non-renewable electricity generation is unchristian. Now, we know that burning oil and gas to run our cars and power our homes is damaging our world, and many of us are working towards a future where we'll be able to stop using oil-based products. But standing up and saying that it's unchristian is not going to change it right away. We have to live in the world as it is. Paul's words here, they're not supporting slavery. Rather, they are designed to help Christians live in a world where slavery is a reality. And sadly, it will be for some years yet, just like our petrol cars. It was confusing for both Christian slaves and Christian slave owners. The dynamic in their relationship had changed, and they're now all in Christ and to consider each other brothers. So Paul sets out this new dynamic. Respectful service is called for from those who serve. Devoted care for the welfare of those who serve is the expectation of the master. It's not perfect, but it's how to get by for now as things are. There is a similar challenge for us today. We have a twofold task as Christians when it comes to living in the world and working for the kingdom. We have to both live as best we can in the imperfect circumstances in which we find ourselves and work towards a more perfect world where those circumstances change. So we drive our cars and we campaign for a world where all our cars are electric. We live in a broken world. We are called to live in it as best we can. But we should never stop working towards its healing as well.